Warren Buffett e seu parceiro Charlie não gostam de fazer previsões macroeconômicas sobre o mercado de ações, visto que poucas vezes é possível prever o momento exato da próxima bomba.
We have no idea whether the market's going to go up today or next week or next month or next year.
Mas é óbvio que o maior investidor de todos os tempos consegue sentir quando o mundo está superprecificado e o preço das empresas não correspondem ao seu verdadeiro valor.
No matter how wonderful it is, it's not worth an infinite price. So we have to have a price that makes sense.
Por esse motivo, Warren Buffett diz que grande parte de seu sucesso financeiro é devido à baixa ou nenhuma compra de ações em tempos incertos.
Well, you're correct that we have not found anything to speak of in equities in a good many months, and the question of how long we wait indefinitely. We are not going to buy anything just to buy something. We will only buy something if we think we're getting something attractive.
Por isso, nesse vídeo, você verá um compilado de todas as vezes que Warren Buffett previu as quedas do mercado de ações, e poderá tirar insights da estratégia de Warren para aplicar na sua. A primeira previsão ocorreu em 1962, quando Warren, que tinha 31 anos de idade, e estava prestes a alcançar seu primeiro $1 milhão, que aconteceu aos 32 anos, deu a sua primeira entrevista que se tem notícia, para a rede de televisão MKTV, sobre a acentuada queda na bolsa em 1962.
I think the president's action on steel probably had something to do with the timing of the decline, but I don't think it was the factor which determined the amount of the decline. For some time, stocks have been rising at rather rapid rates. Corporate earnings have not been rising. Dividends have not been increasing, and it's not to be unexpected that perhaps a correction of some of those unusual factors on the upside might occur on the downside.
Essa entrevista que você acabou de ver nunca foi ao ar. Afinal, nessa época, quem era Warren Buffett na fila do pão? A segunda previsão foi em março de 1969, quando Warren, por meio de uma carta intitulada "Para os meus parceiros", encerrou seu fundo de investimentos, a Buffett Partnership, que havia alcançado a média de 29% de retorno anual desde o seu início em 1956. Qual o motivo do encerramento? Warren não entendia aquele mercado superprecificado de 1969, que, como ele suspeitava, sofreria quedas constantes até 1980.
In the 1969 period when I closed up, I had a somewhat similar situation in terms of finding things, and B, I really felt that the expectations of people had been so raised by the experience we'd had over the previous 13 years that it made me very uncomfortable, and I felt unable to dampen those expectations. And I really just didn't find it comfortable to operate where my partners, even though they might nod their heads understandingly and say that, we really know why you aren't making any money while everybody else is. I didn't think I wanted to face the internal pressure that would come from that.
Já em 2000, a famosa bolha do .com aconteceu, e o rápido aumento no valor das ações das empresas de tecnologia e internet deixaram o Sr. Buffett para trás.
Have you ever bought a technology company?
No, I really haven't.
In 30 years of investing, not one?
I haven't understood any of them.
So you haven't ever owned, for example, IBM?
Never owned IBM. Marvelous company. I mean, a sensational company, but I haven't owned IBM.
And so here is this technological revolution going on, and you're not going to be a participant.
Gone right past me.
Is that all right with you?
It's okay with me.
Porém, apesar do mercado ter o deixado para trás, o conselho de Ben Graham para não comprar empresas superprecificadas se provou verdadeira mais uma vez.
Are you a little bit nervous when you, I understand you're a very tolerant person who probably is willing to let anybody do what they want to do, but as you look at what's happening to Wall Street today, the incredible, companies that go up 100, 200% over a week or two, and then maybe drop 50% over it, does that make you nervous?
Well, it's more exaggerated now than most of the time in the past, but we've had a lot of speculative activity and all kinds of things over the years in markets, and it frequently doesn't come to a good end, but it'll be with us 100 years from now, just as it was with us 100 years ago.
Well, it's just a lot faster.
There's a lot of action, and people are day trading and that sort of thing. The one piece of advice I'd give them is don't do it on borrowed money.
But many of them are.
I know.
I mean, they're buying on margin.
Yeah. Some of them will come to a bad end on that.
Because?
I hope. Well, because things don't go up forever, and a lot of the valuations strike me as extreme. And if you own them on borrowed money and they go down one day, you don't get to play out your hand.
It's described as nothing short of breathtaking, a points drop never before seen on the US markets.
Bad day.
Bad day for you?
Another one, yeah.
I know.
Too many in a row.
Em 2007, a bolha imobiliária também passou pelos olhos do Oráculo dos Investimentos. O Warren cita essa divergência de preço e valor nos imóveis em 2005, que veio a estourar em 2007.
We're not big on macro forecasts. I mean, this foreign exchange thing is quite different than what we've done over time and the way we've made money. It isn't like we've got some great track record of predicting macro factors and have made a lot of money doing that. We've made money by looking at things like PetroChina or whatever it may be and just deciding that here's a very good business that's selling at a very cheap price. Certainly at the high end of the real estate market in some areas, I mean, you've seen some extraordinary movement, and I've referred to this before, but 25 years ago or so, we saw the same thing in farmland in Nebraska and Iowa and surrounding areas. We had people running from cash. Cash is trash, and people were, they were worried about the fact that inflation was out of control in the late 70s and before Volcker did his stuff. People were fleeing from cash, and one of the ways they gave vent to that fear was to rush into farmland. And there was a farm about 30 miles north of here that sold for about $2,000 an acre in roughly 1980, and a few years later I bought it from the FDIC for $600 an acre. And you can say, how can you go crazy about farmland? It's going to produce about 45 bushels an acre of soybeans, about 120 bushels an acre of corn, and there's no way you could dream about it tripling or the internet causing corn yields to go up or something of the sort. But people went crazy on it, and the consequences were huge in terms of banks failing, lots of banks failing in this area. Banks that had gone through the Great Depression, but they just went a little crazy. People go crazy in economics periodically in all different kinds of ways. And you had the Resolution Trust Corp come out of the savings and loan nuttiness that took place in real estate, where they financed everything that was put before them. I don't know where we stand in terms of the residential housing cycle, and it has different behavior characteristics simply because people live in the houses in great many cases. So will not behave necessarily the same as other markets. But when you get prices increasing at far, far greater rates than construction costs or inflationary factors, sometimes there can be some pretty serious consequences.
Boa noite. O pânico que se espalhou pelos mercados de ações em todo o mundo causou mais prejuízos nesta sexta-feira. As principais bolsas da Ásia e da Europa registraram perdas gigantescas. No Brasil, a Bovespa interrompeu os negócios pela terceira vez na semana.
The stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down 43%.
Mas algo precisa ser dito. Nenhuma dessas previsões foi realmente intencional. Warren não tenta prever o mercado. E tudo que ele previu, na verdade, foi apenas uma consequência da superprecificação das empresas. Por isso, o segredo não é prever o momento certo, mas sim, comprar barato pelo valor que você recebe.
We have not been good at timing. We've been reasonably good at figuring out when we were getting enough for our money. And we had no idea when we bought anything. Well, we always hoped it would go down for a while so we could buy more, and we hoped even after we were done buying and ran out of money that if it was cheap, the company would keep buying, and in fact taking our interest up. I mean, that's stuff you could learn it in fourth grade, but it's not what's taught in school. And I mean, so never give us any credit
well, actually give us all the credit. I mean, go out and tell everybody how smart we are, but we aren't. We haven't ever timed anything.